Hey guys, welcome back. I just did this whole video and then all in one take, and I was like, oh man, that went really well, and it wasn't recording. So this one's probably not going to be as good just because now I'm mad. Welcome back. I know it's been a minute since I've posted my last video, but it's been kind of crazy just because I found out a couple weeks ago I matched in Texas for residency, so I'm super excited about that. Going to be heading down there in a couple months. And I also moved out of my Sarah apartment, which I had mixed feelings about, but it was definitely nice to get out of the area. Um, Today I have a book review for you. I may or may not do another one. The way this went today, I probably won't, just because the cooking videos are honestly so much easier. I just put that tripod next to the stove and just like add the stuff and just was like, oh, like this is what I'm doing. Whereas this, I had to create this stack of books to prove to you that I read fun books. I even like wrote an outline. um, it's been taking me like all day, but enough complaining. Hopefully this goes well, and I just thought I would jump right in. Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. This is the author of All the Light We Cannot See. This is a Pulitzer Prize winning book, All the Light We Cannot See. I read that one. I loved it, so that's like the main reason why I got this book initially. And I didn't really know much about the premise, so I just thought I would like kind of jump into it blind. But a little bit about the book in case you are curious. So there's five characters. Is yeah, two in the present day, like Iowa. You have Zeno. He's like an older man who like fought in the Korean War, who then is kind of helping children like perform this like play. You also have Seymour, who is in present day Iowa. He's a teenager that has some mental health issues, and like their paths overlap at some point. I'm trying to keep this spoiler free. And then you have two characters in like 15th century Constantinople, Anna and Omer, and they overlap. So that's also like an interesting dynamic. And then you also have the fifth character is Constance in the future, and those characters are kind of brought together by this interwoven ancient Greek text written by Antonius Diogenes. I'm probably butchering that name, but it's translated to English because obviously I can't read ancient Greek. But it's about the Cloud Cuckoo Land, which is like this like fictional place. It's like a paradise, like vacation, like idea. And so that's like kind of what connects all the stories. And the other reason why I would say like the stories connect also through the ancient Greek text is because part of it is like the preservation of like written word and the importance of like carrying stories from like century to century, and the importance of like spoken and written word. And I read this book last year, but I really wanted to review it just because, spoiler, I absolutely loved it and I really wanted to talk about it. There's a lot of reasons, and I don't want to ramble too much about it, but I'll try and boil it down to three. So the first I would say is that this book flows very smoothly, like impressively well. I think with the amount of characters that I described, the past, the present, the future, ancient Greek, text, which I'm like not really a fan of personally, but it just flows so well, and I feel like I'm never confused when reading it. I feel like it's just a very interesting concept. It's a very dynamic book. It's like a format that I really haven't written before, with like the short chapters and then interwoven ancient Greek text, and it bounces back and forth. But that's like kind of fun in that sense. I would say the second reason I really love this book is because of the short chapters from the character's point of view. So it'll be like 3 or 4 pages chapters about Anna, and then it'll jump to Seymour, and then Constance, and then it'll be an ancient Greek text. And those like short chapters kind of make you feel as though you're really making progress in the book. It's also a fun way to kind of just bounce back and forth. You're like getting invested in one character, and then it goes to another one, and then another one. But it's not too much where like you're annoyed. Like I definitely was impressed by how within the short chapters I feel like connected with the characters, and I feel invested in the plot, and then before you know it you're going to Constantinople, and then you're on a spaceship, or then you're going to Iowa or something. And I think that's super fun. And I would say the third reason is, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to review this, is because it sets the tone for future books for me. I would say I think like this is unlike a book that I've ever really read before. It's super complicated, it's fun, it's difficult to read, but not too much so. And I think, it's just like when a book kind of takes you out of your comfort zone in that way, and it's just like it's achieved so effectively. I think that just is a making of a great book. And I just think that like the books I've read afterwards just felt kind of more one dimensional, where this just felt so dynamic. I would say the only negative thing about this book is that it takes some time to kind of get into it. You need like 50 to 100 pages to kind of really get into the thick of it, I would say, just because you have to be introduced to all the characters. So I thought it was a little slow for me personally at first, but not nearly as much so to kind of like want to put the book down, just enough where I like didn't love it. But then once you get about 100 pages in, you start liking it. And then I would say the last 250 pages I like kind of crushed in 2 days, which is not typically me. It just shows to you how much I really liked it. And I would say the only other thing about this book, and just not really a negative, just kind of like an FYI, is I would really recommend reading the hard copy versus the audiobook. That's just like a personal preference. I just know for me, with the amount of moving parts and the short chapters, I would say I don't think I would like this book as much if I did an audiobook, but everybody's different. I know I couldn't handle it, but maybe I'm just like not smart enough. Let me know what you guys think if you did do the audiobook, even though, come on, we all know. But yeah, overall, 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. I could not recommend this book enough. I think it's just a very complicated but well executed idea that just, I was never confused. I was always like, near the end, I was on my toes. I was curious where the characters were going. I think there's a lot of fun twists and nuggets that kind of like showed how it was all connected, to the point where I was like, wow, this is really impressive. And I just want somebody to kind of have that experience that I had, just because it was a fun book. So go read it. In the meantime, please just hit the like and subscribe button. That is my dog in the background. If you want to see more videos of the dog, if you want to get more bad book reviews, if you want to see cooking videos, stay tuned.